everyone, welcome to Kelly's Creative Dream Studios, and it is Finish It Friday, but I'm going to put a little twist on Finish It Friday today, so stay tuned. If you've been to my channel before, thanks for dropping by. If you're new, welcome. I hope you find something on my channel of interest and inspiring for you. Now, as I said, this is Finish It Friday, so if you are here at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the 24th of May, we are in the chat room right next door. Come on over and say hi. But if you're more comfortable lurking, then that's fine too. I just hope that I can inspire you. Now, today I said that it's going to be a little bit of a twist, and here I go with the yawns again. But I'm going to keep drinking and hope I can stave that off. I've got some juice over here. So, what I thought I would do today, because right now the studio is a complete disaster and I'm still organizing some things, and I don't quite have something ready to dive into one of my projects that needs to be finished. But as part of my All Things Altered, I am working on elements for a journal using the All Things Altered. So I thought I would take that a step today and continue to alter some of my packaging. We're using the papers from Pattern Party, which was a host freebie in the All Occasion catalog in 2021-2022 from Stampin' Up. And I really like the colors. I'll have some that are the black and the white that we can color in and whatnot. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to use strips of these papers. And let me move this out of the way. And then, this is what I'm using as my cover, so I'm going to cut these off so I can get a measurement on how long this is. Oh, excuse me. And it is officially, my pages are going to be approximately 7.5 inches long. So what we're going to do is we're going to make some page edges today. Probably only get one done, maybe start on a second, because it's Finish It Friday. So let's start a project. So I have my Velveeta cookie box, and we said this needed to be 7.5. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to trim this down with my paper trimmer. And then I'm going to cut this about, I think I want it to be about 1.5 inches. In fact, you know what? Let's not use this. If it's going to go on a page edge, that's going to be awfully heavy. So let's not use that after all. Let's go to our paper. If I can get it open. Here. And I have, oh, you know what would, well, I want to use the black and white as a base, I think. So let's start with one of these. And I'm going to use that one, I think. And we need to do 7.5 by 1.5 inches. What do I want to do 2? Let's do 1.5 inches. And I'm going to go ahead and cut a couple of these because I'll probably have at least 2 signatures. Oh, what the heck. I usually wind up with 3. So there we go. We have page edge starts. Now, the other thing I want to do is I want to go through the papers. And I have some scraps that I can use. I'm going to leave that one out. I have an envelope here. Thought I did. Maybe I'm out of my envelope scraps. So let's go ahead, and I have, oh, there we go. I have some scraps here of the papers, and we did that 1.5 inches. So let's cut these 2 inches wide. Okay, let's do that, and we'll get some of these done. Go ahead and trim this one off and get rid of that oval. And we'll come back to that, and you'll see why in a minute. And then we have this one, which is what we were using. I'm going to leave that one. Let's cut this one. 2 inches. And let's see. Oh, got that one, that one. Now let's switch to some of the patterns I have larger pieces of, and I'm going to stick to, let's run this one this way, because they don't necessarily have to be directional, but I'm going to go ahead and cut a couple of pieces going both directions with that one. Now all of these pages are patterned on one side and they're black and white print on the other. So let's go ahead and do this one at 2 inches. Not sure I'm going to use the green, but we'll see. And then we have this blue. The pattern seems to go this way, so we'll go this way with this one. I just want to make sure I've got a strip of each of these. And this one's a directional. So depending on how we run that, let's run it this way and do one each direction. I got 2 more, I think, here to cut. Let's cut this one off the short side. Now the other thing I'm going to be using is walnut stain from Stampin' Up! For my distressing my edges. While I have a lot of brown and stuff in here, or a lot of the pastels in here, I want to make sure that I've got some coloring. Now we're done with the trimmer. We'll get it out of our way. So now I have all these pieces to work with. But what are we going to do with them? Look at all these pretty patterns. But what are we going to do with them? Well, let me show you. And I think I'm going to raise this up just a hair. You're a little close. I think I can do that. There we go. Okay, there we go. We got that. Now, over here beside me, I have a variety of punches in different shapes. And I'm going to do them like this because they won't shadow quite so bad. So I have that one. I have a postage stamp punch. And these are all except for one are Stampin' Up! Punches. Now I pulled a couple of smaller ones that are scallops just to give us some layering. And then I have the scallop square. And then I have a ticket punch from EK Success. So let's start with our larger punches. And we're just going to start punching out shapes. Just like this. And we want a variety, and I'm going to leave one of those. We'll punch this one. That one's going to be one of the smaller ones. And I want a variety of the shapes. Now this one, it's directional, but it doesn't matter because I can turn this squares any direction. So I'm going to leave that one. We've got one of those. Let's do our hearts. And our scallops. So even if you have some papers that you really don't know what to do with, punch out shapes and make you a page edge. Put them to work for you. I think I can use this one. Okay. And there's that one. We won't use that one anymore. Let's get us a couple of the postage stamp. And I'm just going to kind of layer my pile over here. Start a... That's just about going to do that one. We'll see if we can get any of the other out of it. That one's not going to go that way, but this one will. So we can tear this off. And I'm saving all of my pieces like this that I ripped off because I'm going to make another master board for this. Whoops. Started to say for this planner, for this journal. We got the hearts in there. We don't have any of the scallops yet. Let's come into this one and put it to use. Maybe next Friday we'll use the Finish It Friday to use up some of these pieces, but I think what I'd rather do is hold off on making another masterboard until I'm almost completely done with the journal. I'm done punching, I'm done tearing, I'm done cutting, so I can get a... Now, why is that one not wanting to go in there? Try this way. Maybe it's telling me that I should use this one. All else fails, bead on it. That was a little shy, but there's got to be a piece in there somewhere. Try this one and see what happens. Yep, that one went all the way in just like it was supposed to. I'm going to go this way on this one. Okay, and we're done with that punch, and it's probably a good thing. Let's get us some scallops here, and I want to make sure I've got a variety here to play with, so bear with me. So we've got different stacks here. So we are still dealing with rain in the Ozarks. The tornadoes that went through Iowa the last couple of nights have just been horrendous. I pray for the people in Greenville, and I kept a close eye on the storm. I was supposed to be writing that night, but I could not bring myself to write because Cassie and her family are in Iowa, and so I wanted to make sure that I was keeping an eye on her and her family. And when I knew those storms were getting so close to her, I just could not focus on writing my book. They say we're going to be in line for them again. Probably Sunday is going to be a rough day for a lot of people. So if you are in the Midwest and Midwest southern states, please do what you can to prepare. Make sure that you have water and clothes and stuff stashed somewhere that should disaster happen, you have a backup plan. And I'm going to link you to my video on my preparedness channel on how to prepare for weather like this. You can't prepare for everything, but even the smallest little detail that you take care of, such as making sure that you have options for cooking and whatever should the power go out, it will make a difference in how you deal with the challenge. Okay, I've got my Tikka one here. Now this is going to print it. This is going to punch out two different tickets, and that one's not going to work. That one's a little small. And I could make it punch out all three, but I don't really need anything that small. So I'm just going to go with the two largest ones. Just like that. Now we have a safe corner in our basement. We also have a supply of emergency items, change of clothes, water. Should the power go out, we have a gas stove so I can still cook. And I have a wide supply of water and for both drinking and for cooking. I have foods that I can prepare quickly. I highly recommend that the way the weather patterns are anymore, if you can do without, if you don't have a gas stove, learn to cook on a gas stove and get a gas stove. You will be so much happier knowing that in the event you lose power, you can still provide for your family. You could also provide for emergency workers who are out in the field. You could be giving them a hot meal. and helping your community, feeding the families that have lost everything. That kind of thing is important to them. The smallest little gesture of help can make a big difference. Okay, if I slide that just right, I can get most of both tickets out of there. Okay, I have done the most of what I want to do with the big punches, so let's move them aside. We are 15 minutes into this, and all you've done is watch me punch paper. But that's okay. Sometimes it's just a crafting along kind of thing. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Tombow. And sometimes I can get it to come out the bottom and sometimes I can't. But I am just going to run glue all along there and spread it out. And I probably have too much, so if I got a little carried away, it's okay. I can come back and I can pick some of that glue up. And I can do 2 of these at a time. So all we're going to do is we're going to take and we're going to lay our papers. And we're not going to lay them in any particular order. And I'm not worried about covering up the whole background. I'm okay with not covering up the background. So let's do this one this way. And let's see, let's do that one. And this one. And glue those down. And if we get things where they tuck up, we can come back in and fix those in a minute. Let's just get some of the basics down first. I want to come back in with, let's do the green one on here. And this needs, what does this one need? Let's put a square on here. Nope, we've already got that one. Let's do this one. No, I don't want to do patterns together. Okay. And you can always come back in and retouch up your glue. Not a problem. Let's see if I can slide these up so I can slide my sheets up. And you know, me and glue, so I'm already fighting with keeping my fingers glue free. It's just the way I roll. It's just me. Let's put a ticket over here. And this one has a ticket, but yeah, it's got one of those. Let's do this one. And this one. And I want to come back in with one of these, I think. Apparently I used that one. Okay, so there's one done. And what do we want to put down here? Let's do this one. Okay. Now, as I said, we could come back in and we could touch up our tips. And I'm going to do that before I do anything. And I'm just going to lift that up. Put a little bit of glue down anywhere that it's not sticking, where I know I need to put glue. Now, if you want, you can always go through and stitch these down. Just put a little bit of glue on there to hold them in place and then stitch everything down. You can do that with your sewing machine if you are so inclined. I'm anxious to get the studio to a point where I can get my sewing machine out again. I have one designated just for paper. Okay, now I'm going to grab me a baby wipe here, and it's a dry one, so I can do this and I can dab up some of that glue and not have to worry about anything sticking. Now, those smaller punches, this is where they come in handy. I can come back in with smaller scallops and I can detail a flower. If I can get my fingers to cooperate with where I want to go. Now, where did it go? It's here somewhere. It's here somewhere. There it is. And I can come in and I can just do this. And I can add this on top. I can also come in with my larger one, and let's punch a green one out here. And I have that blue, or have that smaller one. And let's do up here in the corner and punch that one out. And I can come back in and I can layer these. And you know what I didn't do? Who was yelling at me? Distress, distress. Because, you know, I forgot to distress. So to make these pop up off the base pages, let's go through and distress this one. Make sure my flower's in the center. And I could even come in with this one like that. And I have bling here from Paper Pumpkin that I could bring this in. And I could put that right down there and add some bling to these. I think that'll work. And so it's just a matter of going through and layering up. I could even, flipping these over. I want to see the backs of the black and blue, of the blacks. Here's this geometric pattern. And let's pop it. And then we have this one. So let's edge the brown one. Oh goodness, it's 22 after. You know what, guys? We have hit our bottom of our time today. So I will have these finished to show you next Friday for Finish It Friday. Just like that. Put a dab of glue on the back. And I'm going to put that one right there. And by putting them not necessarily in a direct line, you're going to create movement on there as well. So that's going to do it for me in the studio today. Thanks for joining me. Remember to share, subscribe, and please be safe and be prepared this week. Creative blessings.